So I'm right in the middle of winding this 60s Tele pickup. It's come along fine. I've just stopped to see how my bobbin is filling up and if I need to wind more in one area than another. We're using plain enamel 42 gauge wire on this pickup. This pickup was really bad. The flat work on the bobbins were warped. Magnets were rusty, so I had to clean up the magnets and soak the flat work, especially the top bobbin, to get it flat again, and press it and get it flat. And then I dipped it in lacquer. That's how they did it in the 50s and 60s before they waxed them. And now I'm using plain enamel 42 gauge to rewind the pickup just like it came from the factory. Let's take a peek again. Looks good. I know a lot of folks wind these a lot faster, but I like to really watch and see how the coil's filling up. But it's cool, so we'll have a restored, I think it's a 66, somewhere around there, Tele pickup, shortly. About 3,000 more winds and we'll be there. And of course I'm scatter winding it too, so it'll be about as hand wound as anything could be. Let's just check it again. About 2,000 winds left. Looking good. I like to get a nice even coil from one end to the other, but I'll scatter wind in between all of that. And all that is just traversing back and forth between the coil. very delicate holding this wire. $800 winds to go. I want to make sure I'm toward the bottom at the end so I can put that through the eyelet for my hookup wire. There we go. Looks great. Get that really close to the bottom there. There we go. All right. All right, so, excuse me there. Now we'll get a reading on this pickup here, now that we've got the leads hooked up again. It's 768. So that's perfect. 769, 768, yeah, so great. That's what we want. That is really good. 770. A nice clean wind on that. See it? Let's see if we can get it closer. These are the original leads, the yellow and blue cloth wires. I lost the original tape down there, it was so crusty. And the other thing is it didn't have a bottom plate to it. The steel plate, copper plated. So I'm going to age this, and then we'll get this back on the bottom of the pickup. And we'll have a really fine example of a mid-60s tele pickup, ready to go back into some lucky owner's Telecaster. I'm also going to dip this in lacquer again. I'm going to lacquer because we want to ensure we don't break any of our new windings on the pickup. So we'll dip that in lacquer and protect it. Put the tape on the bottom and get our bottom plate on there. So another successful rewind. See you next time. I also forgot to mention that I have the original rope that goes around the windings. So just trying to keep it as original as we can. So after I get the rope on there, I'll dip it in a little lacquer now, but we'll do a little dip afterwards too to keep the rope intact because it's starting to fray. Okay, so I've aged the bottom plate, the copper plate. Actually, it's a steel plate that's copper plated. And we've reattached the ground wire to the plate. So now we're ready to wax it. I'm getting the double boiler ready. Heating it up, melting some wax. So we've got our wax up to temperature. Already had the pickup in here for a bit. And as Lindy Fralin would say, we want to soak it in there until there aren't any bubbles coming out of the pickup. There's a couple more coming out of there. But that's right in the center of the bobbin, so there's space in there. I don't want to go too wild on it because I really like the sound of unpotted pickups. But in this case, on a tele pickup, we want to really make sure that the windings that come off of the bobbin, the positive and negative, the first one and the last one, are waxed, because that protects them from breaking. And that's just why we wound the pickup in the first place, because there was a broken winding in there. So we want to make sure this pickup's good to go for another 40 years. So there we go. Our handy little double boiler and our thermometer gauge. So once that's dry, there's two hands here. There we go. Once that's dry, it's ready to be popped back in the guitar. So I don't have the tele pickup mounted in the guitar, but it's at the right height because there's a piece of foam under there. So we're going to listen to some bare knuckle 50s, aged 50s flat pole piece, blackguard pickups. Now the pickup I just rewound. So the one that's rewound's a little juicier, especially on the D and the G string, because it has raised pull pieces. So it turned out great. It sounds great.